Ohio University, Zanesville. Welcome to the family of Ohio alumni. I wish you all the very best. Now, I have a special speaker who's going to come up. Each year, we ask our faculty and staff to nominate students to be considered for giving the student address for our graduation recognition ceremony. Quite a number of deserving students are nominated, some of them more than once, so the selection process can be quite challenging. This year, Brittany Huffman was selected to represent our students. Brittany is graduating this semester with a Bachelor's of Science in Education, specifically middle childhood education. Her areas of concentration are math and science, and she has just completed her professional internship, so now she can breathe a little more easily. In addition, Brittany has served as one of our dedicated student workers in our Student Services Department. She grew up in Nashport and is hoping to begin her teaching career close to home. Please join me in welcoming Brittany Huffman, our 2022 Graduate Recognition Student Speaker.
For those of you that don't know me, I am graduating my journey here at OUZ in the summer of 2019. Since then, I have been involved in the college in various tours, mentoring UC classes, and most recently operating a few OULN classes. What I'm trying to say is I know all the good hiding spots in Elson Hall. When we think back on our time here at OUZ, I'm guessing most of us are not going to remember our textbooks and syllabi, but instead the relationships we have formed with our peers and professors, and the experiences we have shared here together. My decision to enroll here was not a lighthearted one, as I'm sure the same can be said for many of you. After graduating high school, I attended college next door, and 2 years later graduated with my degree in radiologic technology. I then went on to secure a job in the field of radiology and start my career as one does when they begin adulting. At the time, I wasn't sure if it was the career choice I made that left me with a little feeling of emptiness, or if it was just adulthood in general. As I'm sure many of you would agree, adulthood is totally not all that it is cracked up to be. Sure, you make your own money, your own rules, go to TJ Maxx whenever you want, but the bills and the responsibilities of everyday life really get in the way of all the fun. So after about a year of being in a constant state of dilemma with myself, I decided to take the plunge and try something else. That's when I contacted my wonderful advisor, Ray Rotella. Ray was able to get me on the right path to success, which ultimately led me to standing here in front of you today. I am so thankful that I made the difficult decision to come back to school, because not only did it lead me to a new, fulfilling career, but also to forming some of the best friendships I've ever had. In my Intro to Education class, I happened to sit in front of a girl I had never met or talked to before, and it didn't take long for us to form one of the best friendships I have ever had. In fact, this July, I will stand beside her as maid of honor in her wedding, and she will stand beside me in mine in September. I am sure most, if not all of you, have made similar friendships within your programs or shared classes that have formed from shared experiences here at OUZ. Fellow graduates, in a few minutes, we will all walk across the stage and accept our individual diplomas, representing not an ending in our lives, but a new beginning and a continuing of education in our respective fields. While for many of us, our next step is to begin our new careers as teachers, nurses, social workers, etc., others may choose to continue learning in a graduate program. No matter the path you choose, one thing is certain. We have the ability to make a significant impact on the community and the world. Likely the reason you chose your major to begin with. So let's continue to grow as people, as professionals, and as difference makers, so that those we come into contact with are better because of it. Congratulations.
Our keynote speaker this evening, Steve Foreman. Steve is the Assistant Superintendent of Zanesville City Schools. Prior to his appointment, he served as a principal for 17 years and as the Title I Director for 5 years. In addition to serving as a public school administrator, he serves an active role in our community as an elected council member for the City of Zanesville. He has served in the capacity of chairperson of the city's Crime and Violence Committee, chairperson of the city's Recreation Advisory Board, and a member of the city's Public Safety Committee. He has been actively involved in the United Way of Muskingum, Perry, and Morgan counties, Muskingum County Literacy Council, Buckeye Association of School Administrators, more, but I think he'll probably talk about some of the other kinds of things. Clearly, he has a strong passion for community. Please join me in welcoming Steve Foreman to our spring graduation recognition.
That guy that she just described sounds really boring, and I'm not that guy. But anyway, I do appreciate it. And 3 times in the hallway while she practiced. But I really didn't know what I was to go to an event with some of our student athletes at Zanesville City Schools, and I met other student athletes from other districts, and there was a gentleman there who spoke who had a quote that, boy, I'd like to pass off as my own, but it's a really good one. It says, it's by Soren Kierkegaard, a Danish philosopher, who said, "Life can only be understood backward, but it must be lived forwards." So it can be understood. I'm going to say it again. So life can only be understood backwards, but it has to be lived forward. So that means that, like, at this point, so as I'm wondering, like, why do they want me here speaking? I'm old, so it probably is one of the biggest reasons, and because I've had some experiences, right? So I'm going to tell you, I picked out 5 things from my life that I think are very important for all of you. And I'm going to share them with you today, and you can just kind of shake your heads and act like you think it's a good idea, okay? But because this is good stuff. So the first one is be courageous. Be courageous. You are at a point where you have set a goal for yourself, and look at you. You've achieved it. You should be very proud. And you should not let people stand in your way. And sometimes it's not people that stand in your way. Sometimes it's things and events that stand in your way, right? So I don't know if any of you might remember that there was a surfer named Bethany Hamilton about a few years ago, 5-6 years ago. At the age of 13, she lost her arm to a shark attack. She says that courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means that you don't let fear stop you. So you're allowed to be afraid, but at the moment in which you let it let it drive your existence and what you do, you failed. Stop doing it. Don't do that. And so I'm going to tell you a story about 6-year-old Steve Foreman, and he was an explosion. And so when I was 6, I was in kindergarten. My grandmother died, and it was just tragic for me. I mean, it was the biggest thing that had ever happened in my life at 6 years old, and it really affected me in my grades, in my relationships with friends, my desire to pursue like my interests. Even at 6 years old. I know that sounds funny, but it's like almost at that time, so young, it was like I just didn't have direction because the one person that I looked to for everything was gone. And my parents watched my grades fall, and they watched me disassociate, and they watched me not want to go out and do the things I'd always done. And every night I would have the same reoccurring dream. And it was always the same. It was that there was this Frankenstein monster, and he was coming down the driveway, and I was playing in the garage because that's where I always played, and this monster, I could hear its feet, and it was coming. And there I was. And I'm like, well, I'm out of here, right? So I would go running for the garage door, but I couldn't get the door open. And for some reason, that doorknob would not turn. And I would fight and fight and fight and fight. And I would wake up. Just as I turned around, I could feel his breath on my neck. And I did that for months. And then it began to be a problem because it affected my sleep. So now you've got a whole other thing going on with little Stevie Foreman, who was already not maybe the best student, but now had this going on. So it just went on and on and on till one day, out of nowhere, I went to bed and I had that dream one night. And there was that monster, and it was out in the driveway, and here it was coming. And I could hear it, and then I could feel its breath. And then that door opened, and it was my grandmother standing there. And she reached down like she always did, and she picked me up, sat me on the washing machine, and she took that door and she slammed it so hard the entire room, everything shook. And I never had that dream again. And I came out of my shell, my grades went up, and I felt secure. That's courage. That's courage working through something that you don't think, it doesn't even, it's something, it's an exterior thing that happened. And because she was there, and I don't know how that happened, but I just want to tell you, be courageous and be open to things that you don't understand, because that's a part of courage. Let those dreams, let those thoughts, let those inspirations play a part in who you are. The other thing is celebrate differences. Now, there is someone by the name of Eli Wiesel, who was a Romanian political activist and a Holocaust survivor, who said, "No human race is superior, no religious faith is inferior, all collective judgments are wrong, and only racists make them." So fast forward to me I attended Ohio University, I'm proud to say, here in Zanesville my freshman year. And then in my sophomore year, I went to Athens campus, and I had my first class, and it was in the College of Arts and Sciences. And it was one of those, like, I don't know, it was like drug, alcohol, and tobacco or something. It was like everyone was there. And I went in, and I sat down, and I looked, and of course I was late, because that's just a thing. And so I started looking around, and there's all these people, and they were all so different than I. I had always gone to the same school. It was very small, private school, Catholic school, and I never really saw anyone different than me. Everyone looked like me, everyone talked like me, everyone thought like me. And I was looking around the room, and I was seeing people that exhibited all kinds of different traits, all kinds of different clothing, hair, and I have no idea, that 2-hour class, what that professor talked about. I never heard her, because I was so entranced in what everybody looked like, and I was like, wonder where they're from, and I wanted to go up and talk to them. And then at the end of the class, I ran across the railroad tracks and went back to my dorm, and I picked up the phone and I called my dad. And I said, I cannot believe what just happened to me. I went to a class, my first class on campus, and I sat with people that were like from all over the world. They were all different than me. They were different from each other. It wasn't until many, many, many years later that I was sitting and talking to someone about college, and I thought, I'm not sure that's how that should have turned out. I'm not sure. Wouldn't it make sense that, having never seen anyone different than myself, that I would have run back across the railroad tracks and said, I'm not going back there, they're not like me. And I didn't do that. So somehow, some way along the line in my life, which did not have much diversity in it, to be honest, I celebrated it. I found a way to celebrate diversity. And I did it on that day, and I did it for the rest of my life. So I encourage you to do the same. Look at what's different about the people around you, and just know that if everyone was you, I'm so sorry to say this, I know you're all wonderful people individually, but man, that'd be a boring world, right? So celebrate those diversities. They're really important, and they're going to be more important as you get older. Okay, now this next one, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I've heard this so many times. This is so boring. Be a lifelong learner. Be a lifelong learner. Mark Batterson is an American pastor and writer, and he says sometimes we're so focused on getting out of a situation that we don't think about what we can get out of the situation. Okay, so we're so focused on just getting out that we don't think about what we can learn while we're there. Now this is kind of my sketchy story anyway. Okay, so I bought a house, right? And I know you're all too young and you don't know the movie The Money Pit, but this was the house I bought. It was the Money Pit. Everything fell off the house. Like I could just be sitting in there and something would happen. It was a horrible house, but I loved the house. And I had in mind that I was going to fix this house up. Now, just an FYI, I have no skills. Okay, so like this, let's just go and make it clear that I cannot do plumbing, electric. I've never drywalled. I don't even have a toolbox. Didn't then. Don't now. But I was going to fix this house up, right? So my first trip was, I decided, my wife at the time she says, well, you know what? I'd really like to have window boxes on the front of this house, underneath all the windows. I said, well, that'd look nice. And we didn't have very much money, and I thought, this is something I can do, right? Who can't build a window box? So I make my way to Lowe's, and I go in and I say, and there was a very nice gentleman there, and he says, can I help you? And I said, yes, I'd like to talk to someone about window boxes. And he says, okay, well, actually, he says, I have a tape on that if you'd like to learn about it. I said, yes, I would. I would like to learn about window boxes, how to make them. Now, be clear, you know what I'm talking about, right? That go underneath the window that you put some plants in, and they hang, and they look, okay, well. So I go down in aisle 27, and he sits me down. He pulls up a chair, and there's this little TV right there, and he pops the VCR tape in, and he begins to play. And, at the beginning, I thought, man, they are really going basic here. Because it started off with this woman, and she's standing there, and there's drywall walls and like maybe I don't even know what I was looking at. It wasn't even a wall. And I'm like, wow, she's good. So she begins to build the wall first and all this and I'm like just fascinated by it until I finally realized that she's not building the window boxes I'm talking about. She's framing out a window. They thought that I was there to learn to frame a window. I was so not there to frame a window. I was going to stop at the garden center on the way out and buy the plants. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to get so I'm kind of a flight person, just putting it out there. So I was like, I got to get out of here. So I just got off that chair and I bolted out that door. I kind of did this thing where I kind of went through the paint aisle, as a diversion, as though someone were watching me. And I got out of there. So the reason I tell you that is be a lifelong learner. Sometimes the things that you want to learn about or you think you want to know provide some other information. And I didn't intend to go into all that, but I was willing to learn and I was willing to sit there and I shouldn't have bolted. I should have sat there and learned what was there, but I didn't. So that's the best story I could come up with for that one. And be kind is my fourth one. It's the most important one. Be a kind person. When people need your help, there are two routes you can go. You can go the route of the easy route, which is sometimes not the nicest, or you can take that extra moment to be kind. And an American philosopher, Eric Hoffer, says kindness can become its own motive. We are kind by being kind. I have a daughter who is a senior this year, so she'll be graduating like you next year, and I'm excited about that because I'd like to buy something for myself. And she, when she was little, she went to daycare and bit everyone. I mean, everyone in sight. So when I would go pick her up, they would all be laid out like carnage on the floor. I mean, it was horrible. It was like going to a third world country every day, and it was just, I didn't know what to do, and I talked to her, and I tried the approach of, a little spank or take her over here and have a harsh talk, and nothing was working. So now I will tell you, I think this is why I might have been a stellar parent, maybe, but I came up with the idea of bite medicine. Because she hated medicine, and she would always take I would give her cold medicine and stuff. She hated all medicine. So I went and got some little dropper saline solution thing, and I filled it up with white vinegar. And then I put a cross bones on it, and I put bite medicine. And I took it in. And she was at daycare that day, and I sat down and I said, honey, Daddy is so sorry. I talked to the doctor, and he says, you've got a terrible disease. It's called bite disease. And I said, the only way that we can get you through this is that when you bite someone, we have to put 3 drops of this on your tongue, and then you won't bite anymore. She said, okay. I said, so you know how, you know how you take your medicine? Yes. I said, well, you're going to take this. Yes. So I went back to my office, and the phone rang 2 hours later, and there was a little girl that she had bitten. So I went, and I had to follow through. Did the 3 drops. Oh, it was horrible. She cried. It was awful. And I held her, and I hugged her, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry you don't feel well. I'm so sorry you have this disease. But see, look what happened. See, I became the good guy. So I didn't have to spank her. I didn't have to talk mean. I don't want to do that. I love her to death. So I got to hug her and sit with her and just put a few drops in her mouth. Okay, I'd like to say that worked like forever. It didn't. We did it 3 more times. But the bottom line is it almost worked. And she did stop biting. So this was a good thing. But see, it was so lazy of me in retrospect to just think that I was going to take her into that room where they kept the paper and staples and give her a little, on the backside, say, don't do that again. I needed to do something better. I needed to be better than that. And so that's why take the extra time. It's going to be something different, but take that extra moment to do the harder thing and really put your all into it, because you're all very intelligent, or else you wouldn't be sitting in those chairs right now, right? So take the time and do it. And the final thing is, the 5th one is laugh. And I'm not going to tell you a story for that one because I just lived it. And I got up here and talked to you about this. And just laugh. Laugh at yourself. Take time to laugh with others. Because, when you look back on your life, and now here I go. Okay, I ought to be smoking a pipe sitting by a fireplace. But when you look back on your life, just realize that it's everything, nothing was as bad as it seemed. Nothing was. I mean, I look back on all the things that I thought were ginormous obstacles and terrible in my life. They weren't obstacles, and they weren't terrible. And they're not going to be for you either. So take time to step back and find someone that you can talk to. Find someone who's a real good sounding board for you, and just sit down and share with them what you're going through. This is your day. Congratulations.
Now, the time all of you have been waiting for, I'm sure. Faculty, staff, and distinguished guests, we will now recognize each of our graduates here with us for this special occasion. On behalf of our distinguished faculty, I'm pleased to inform you that all of the candidates are in good standing and have completed all requirements for their degrees. Dr. Abu Baker and Ms. Seelover, please take your place at the podium. Our faculty marshals will now guide the graduates by row to the platform.
John C. McElfresh, Bachelor of Arts in History, magna cum laude.
I think we keep those.
Keep it, okay. Madison Lee Ann Malone, Bachelor of Arts in Human Biology. William Isaac Bellew, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management. Thank you. Harley Diane Brugglehurst, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management. Mackenzie Huff, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management. Thank you. Alexia Jean McKay, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management, cum laude. Dalton Lee Warren, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management and Bachelor of Science in Communication, magna cum laude. We got another double major. Leah Madison Walker, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management and Bachelor of Science in Communication. Thank you. Sarah Elizabeth Wilson, Bachelor of Science in Applied Management, magna cum laude. Charity Rose Mazar, Bachelor of Criminal Justice, cum laude. Thank you. Brianna Michelle Barker, Bachelor of Science in Education, magna cum laude. Morgan Lee Bilsall, Bachelor of Science in Education. Catherine Elizabeth Browning, Bachelor of Science in Education, cum laude. Thank you. Kaylee M. Day, Bachelor of Science in Education. Thank you. Skylar G. Durst, Bachelor of Science in Education, cum laude. Brittany Nicole Huffman, Bachelor of Science in Education, magna cum laude. Thank you. Natasha D. Johnson, Bachelor of Science in Education. Sarah Elizabeth McGee, Bachelor of Science in Education, magna cum laude. Thank you. Alexandria Lane McKeever, Bachelor of Science in Education, summa cum laude. Chloe Galanis Berry, Bachelor of Science in Education, cum laude. Thank you. Carly D. Spears, Bachelor of Science in Education, cum laude. Thank you. Tiffany Ann Margaret Van Horn, Bachelor of Science in Education, summa cum laude. Thank you. Brittany Michelle West, Bachelor of Science in Education, magna cum laude. Dalton Michael Ray, Bachelor of Science in Education, cum laude. Is that you?
Courtney Ann Brooks, Bachelor in Science of Nursing. Dakota Shelby Clark, Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Kayla Leanne Combs, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, magna cum laude. Chandler P. Kress, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Madison Ann Crumrine, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, cum laude. Rachel Marie Detra, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Noelle M. Dunn, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Lacey Ebert, Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Emily Brianna Glass, Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Jasmine Lee Jewell, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Courtney Renee Kelly, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Tashina Langdon, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Jared Michael Lombatis, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, summa cum laude. Caitlin E. Marcheski, excuse me, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Bailey Elizabeth Muckensturm, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, summa cum laude. Tiffany Renee Siddle, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Clara J. Slaball, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, cum laude. Slayball. Riley Christine Sterling, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Bachelor of Science in Nursing, magna cum laude. Ariane Yvonne Treadway, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Hannah Lee Tusing, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, cum laude. Catherine Grace Voigt, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Lauren Watson, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Allison Grace Wiley, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, magna cum laude. Caitlin Nicole Woodward, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Taylor Ann Workman, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Alexis Nicole Wright, Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Paige A. Dunphy, Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Abby Lorraine Lenz, Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Alexis Poland, Bachelor of Science in Sport and Lifestyle Studies. Rhett Michael Talbert, Bachelor of Science in Sport and Lifestyle Studies. Caden Dawson, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Melia Faith Dunn, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Chloe Ann Ethel, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Thank you. Kristen Nicole Groves, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Kayla Marie Haynes, Bachelor of Science in Social Work and Associate in Arts, magna cum laude. Heather Dawn McHenry, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Okay, Micaiah Ann Sidwell, Bachelor of Science in Social Work. Nick R. Wallace, Bachelor of Science in Social Work, magna cum laude. Anna E. Worthington, Bachelor of Science of Social Work, cum laude. Thank you. So should we give to the just chat?
Let's give all these graduates a big round of applause. Standing ovation. And now we'll share our alma mater. Don't worry, I won't sing. So, for your listening enjoyment. And now it is my great honor to introduce this year's Alumni Leadership Award recipient, Shannon Nesbith. Shannon has worked for Genesis Healthcare System for 28 years, largely in the medical surgical realm. She is serving as an IT clinical consultant currently, assisting with the ambulatory side of health, and prior to that, she served as the Director of Acute Care Services. Shannon received her ADN from Ohio University Zanesville in 1995. She received her BSN and her MSN from Indiana Wesleyan University. Shannon is a member of the Ohio University Zanesville Nursing Advisory Council and is currently serving as the chair of the Ohio University Zanesville Coordinating Council. I present to you Shannon Nesbith, our 2022 Alumni Leadership Awardee.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's beautiful. When Hannah told me I would have to say some words, I was like, oh, do I have to get the award? No. I really didn't know what I was going to say until I heard your quote. Your quote was amazing, and I thought back of this year, over this year, and I thought if I would have known what this year was going to be in 1995, I probably wouldn't have taken the path that I did. So I'm thankful that I wasn't able to see the future, and I will continue to live on. But, you know, over the last year, we all know is very difficult in what this world has faced. But honestly, it's taught me so much. Hannah had said that I'm now working in our IT, which is a blessing. I actually made the decision at the end of last year to step down from my leadership role and try something different. So about a couple weeks after that decision, Hannah called me and said I had won this award for leadership, which I thought was kind of ironic since I was stepping down. But when I think about it, you know, over the year, you know, I'm humbly accept this because without the team that you lead, you really, there is nothing. I did nothing except serve my team. They did everything this year, and I owe everything that we accomplished over this past year to the team. And then as far as stepping down, you know, I had to think long and hard after the year. I really didn't have the energy that I had in 1995. Things have changed in my world. So I almost felt like maybe I don't deserve this award because, you know, I'm stepping down, I'm no longer a leader. But I think it takes a leader to recognize when you don't have that energy and when you don't have what your team needs to allow somebody else to step in and do that. So I humbly accept this award. I appreciate everything that my career in OUZ has given me. And thanks again to my team that made it all worthwhile. So thank you.
Graduates, the smiles on your faces, the accolades from your family and friends in the audience throughout this evening amplify the sense of pride that we all feel right now. We have a lot of pride in you, our staff, our administrators, and certainly our faculty. There is one group to which we must give some special thanks, our faculty, who are seated to my right. Our distinguished faculty advised you, taught you, and guided you throughout your degree programs, and accompanied you every step of the way on your educational journey. I ask our faculty to stand and be recognized. We also need to thank our staff in student services, financial aid, academic advising, and library services who all assisted you in completing your studies and arriving at this important day. We also thank our facility staff, our student resource officer, the information technology department, our administrative support staff. There are many we need to thank. All of these folks attended to the details to make this evening special for you and your family. Would our staff please rise to be recognized? And I think not all of them are in here. Some are out there still doing some work. But they know that they are certainly recognized and very much appreciated. While graduation is often seen as an end of accomplishment, graduates, whether you completed your degree requirements entirely at the Zanesville campus or took coursework at any of the other regional campuses or the Athens campus, as such, your possibilities for influencing your neighborhoods, your communities, your state, your country, and the world are truly all the best as you imagine the future that awaits you, essentially. We hope you will stay in touch, and please keep us posted on your accomplishments as you move forward. As you prepare to leave the campus, I want to draw your attention to the backdrops that we between the two pillars. Those make wonderful locations for you to take some of those special photos, so please take some time to do that. We can also, we also have some light refreshments that will be available. Thank you all for being here tonight to share in this very joyous occasion. As the recessional begins, please stand, and graduates have exited. Thank you very much, and now please rise.